Welcome everybody to EDH Workshop. I'm MC Sebzi, and in today's episode I'll be talking about my Nevinyrral Urborg Tyrant deck. This is a zombie tribal deck with an odd theme. It's a board wipe deck. So it's basically about getting my zombies out. It's basically about clearing the board constantly. With Urborg's ability, I'm able to replenish my board, hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. And when he enters the battlefield, I create a tapped 2/2 black zombie for each creature that died this turn. So that's great. Drop my board wipes, create a bunch of zombies, and then I have, lords and stuff that help my zombies out or benefit from having all these zombies. And then he's also a board wipe if he's ever, targeted for removal. I could pay 1 and blow the board up. But yeah, so let's start off with the creatures. I got an Archghoul of Thraben. Basically, when I board wipe all my creatures, he allows me to look at the top card of my library and pull out all my zombie cards. I don't have a lot of creatures in this deck. I only got a 15, but it's obviously from having my board wiped all the time that I don't really want to be focusing on these permanent creatures. I'm very much happy with just having a lot of tokens generated. Bone Knitter lets me regenerate a target zombie, so I can do it on my commander, or I can do it on anything else I want to keep. Champion of the Perished enters the battlefield. Whenever a zombie enters the battlefield, it gets a +1 counter, so it gets bigger and bigger. Death Baron gives all my zombies +1 in Death Touch. Fiend Hunter is great, comes in and can exile my commander, and then when my board wipe hits, kills Fiend Hunter. Then my commander comes in, gets the trigger off. Gleaming Overseer enters the battlefield. I can amass 1, gives all my zombie tokens, death, hexproof, and menace. Havengeful Runebinder is great. It lets me exile cards from my graveyard, make a zombie, and also put counters on all my zombies. This is better off when I'm just trying to build and develop my board. When I'm ahead on everybody else while they're trying to build up. Vizier of the Scorpion gives my zombie tokens Death Touch and amasses 1. Scab Ruinator's a 5/6 flying zombie that I can recast from my graveyard, so I don't mind it dying from board wipes. Having all these board wipes, Sepulchral Primordial is going to be great. It can pull me zombies or creatures from everyone's graveyard onto my battlefield, and there's going to be a lot. Plague Reaver is kind of a one-sided board wipe. I can kind of send him around the table, and he'll kind of like threaten to have everyone's board wiped off if they don't discard a lot of cards. Narfi's great. Also just gives my zombies +1/+1, and I can play him from the battlefield, from the graveyard, onto the battlefield. Magister Sphinx is kind of a win condition, so once I got like 5 zombies within the Nevinyrral trigger, or 10 zombies even, for be it that, this comes into play, makes someone life total 10. They'll have no creatures because of the wipes. That way, kind of get in. Liliana's Reaver is just a good zombie. Lets me make people discard cards, and then makes me zombies. White of the Precinct 6 gets +1/+1 for each card in an opponent's graveyard, each creature. That allows it to get huge after wiping the board multiple times. Then Sorceries, we got things like Ambitious Cost, just draw 3, lose 3, and here we get into our board wipes. By invitation only lets me kind of make a specific amount of creatures die in a board wipe, so once I have a mass zombie army, I can kind of, tailor it to my personal needs. Dam is a good target removal and a board wipe when need be. Diabolical Tutor and Idyllic Tutor both kind of help me search for cards that I need to keep my commander alive, and enchantments that kind of bring him back, which we'll get to. Ghoul Caller's Chant lets me return a creature or 2 zombies from my graveyard to my hand. Haunting Void returns all my zombie cards back to my hand, and if I foretell it, then it returns all my zombies to the battlefield. Great after a board wipe and stuff like that. Hour of Reckoning destroys all non-token creatures, so it keeps all my, zombie tokens that I've created alive when I need kind of a one-sided board wipe. And Convoke makes it cost cheaper. Supreme Verdict destroys all creatures, can't be countered. Reanimate lets me bring my commander back to the battlefield after a board wipe, getting its trigger. Phyrexian Rebirth will destroy all the creatures and then give me a big horror. And as well as, once I have my commander on a repeat loop, he'll give me a bunch of zombies back as well. Patriarch's Bidding lets me everyone choose a creature type and then bring all cards back to their battlefield. If an opponent has, you know, tribal stuff, then, you know, they'll probably benefit from it, but it's not that likely. And then worst case, I can just reboard wipe and get 2 triggers on my commander at that point. Necromantic Selection allows me to blow everything up and then return a creature back, most likely my commander, getting its trigger. Kaya's Wrath destroys all creatures and gains me life for each creature I controlled that was destroyed that way, so that's good for when, you know, I'm being the target and I'm, you know, taking a lot of damage. This lets me wipe the board and gain some life back. Time Wipe returns a creature to my hand and then destroys all creatures, most likely my commander, so I can play him again. Vanquish the Horde costs cheaper and it destroys all creatures for 2 mana, again allowing me to play around my commander. Witness the Future lets me shuffle some cards from my graveyard into my library, so once I've lost some of those zombies and I don't have that much recursion, I get to kind of bring them back and then also look through my library and draw a card. Zombie Apocalypse brings all my zombies back from the graveyard and then destroys all humans if there are some humans there. Useful, but mostly for bringing back my guys. A lot of instants to save my commander, so Brought Back brings him and another creature back to the battlefield after getting destroyed. Counter Swall's just a counter spell. Dark Dabbling lets me regenerate a creature, and then if I have multiple instants and sorceries in my graveyard, then I get to regenerate my whole team, which is great for the board wipes. Flicker of Fate lets me flicker my commander, kind of get that ability trigger again when he enters the battlefield. Fracture, just my single target removal. Goryo's Vengeance allows me to return a legendary creature from my graveyard to the battlefield, so I get my commander trigger and then I have to exile it, but no matter, I can put it in the command zone. Malakir Rebirth lets him come back when he dies. So does Undying Malice with a counter, so does Undying Evil with a counter, and Supernatural Stamina does the same thing. So those are all great cards in this. I can play that after I've played my board wipe or beforehand, and then, you know, have them get that trigger off. Rise of the Dreadmarn, I can foretell it for 1 mana, which is great, and then it basically creates X 2/2 zombies, where that's how many creatures died this turn. Revivify lets me return all the creatures that died this turn from my graveyard to my hand, and if I have enough, it returns them to the battlefield. It's dice roll as well, so if I get a high number, then I just automatically get it. Artifacts, I got Arcane Signet, Armillary Sphere for Soul Ring, just for ramp. Darksteel Ingots in here too, because it's indestructible, so it won't die from my commander's ability to bomb the board. Elixir of Immortality lets me shuffle back all those creatures I've been losing into my graveyard, into my library, again just to kind of like reuse them, because I want these board wipes to affect me like as minimalistic as possible, but you know, really just control the board. Nevinyrral's Disc is in here too, same thing as his last ability, I can just wipe the board. And then I have a Wand of Orcus that lets me create 2/2 zombies and also gives my zombies Death Touch, which is great. Enchantments are like the big key in this. Angelic Renewal, when a creature dies, I can bring it back by sacrificing this. Similar things with Unholy Indenture. When the enchanted creature dies, comes back with a counter. False Demise does the same thing. And then Kaya's Ghost Form, whenever it dies or is put into exile, it brings it back. So kind of put these on my commander, and then the board wipes are kind of no biggie because he'll just immediately come back. I have a Graft Harvest, which just gives my zombies menace, and I can make some tokens off of it. Endless Ranks of the Dead constantly doubles up the amount of zombies I have. Dreadhorde Invasion lets me amass 1, and then also if I have a big enough zombie token, I can give it lifelink. Debitor's Nail is a great card in this. At the beginning of an upkeep, my upkeep, I get to put a creature from a graveyard onto the battlefield in my control, so I can take all from my opponents that I've been wiping or my own zombies that I need. Necroduality will double up all my zombies that come in, or at least, you know, the non-token ones, which is great. I get a lot of double amass triggers and whatnot. Promise of Tomorrow is a great board wipe protection. Whenever any of my creatures die, I exile them, and then when this leaves the battlefield at the end step, if I have no creatures, it brings all of them back. So I can play this, wipe the board, all my creatures are going to come back. Meanwhile, I'll also get a commander trigger, getting me a bunch of 2/2 zombies for all the creatures that died. At least on my opponent's boards, so, and also all the creatures on my board, because it doesn't exile it instead, it just exiles them after they die. Rooftop Storm is great, all my zombies cost 0. So yeah, those are the enchantments, and then just down onto the lands, I got just a mana base, just Esper Panorama. It's 3 colors, so I'm just trying to get as much as I can. Again, this is from my own collection, so it's whatever I have access to. And then I got a command beacon, which is the biggest one, allows me to put my commander into my hand from the command zone. Once he starts getting 8 to 10 mana to play, then it's not really viable for that. But yeah, that's the deck. The basic playstyle is try to have something to protect your commander, build up your zombie army, and then once things get like you have the potential to flicker your commander like a couple times, you can bomb the board. At any point in time you feel kind of like worried, you can bomb the board. It's great for that. I feel like this is closer to CEDH only in the amount of control it can be. It's very mana expensive in some of the board wipes, but it's hard to rebuild a board and then deal with somebody else wiping the board like in a couple turns, right? So yeah, that's the deck. Basically just build your army, wipe the board, get Nevinyrral out as soon as possible, start that cycle where you can have him just constantly fill your board up. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. It's a lot of fun to play, not a lot of fun for my opponents. This is my zombie bomb deck. Super fun building it. I remember, such a cool idea. I really like this commander. But yeah, you can check the deck list out at the comments. It's here on Moxfield. I'm MC_Sebzy. You can catch me on Twitch. I'm MCSebzy7. Hope you really enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you like the content. Comment down below if you want me to make any videos on anything specifically, specific commanders, specific builds, specific archetypes. I'll definitely read up on the comments I can. But yeah, that's my deck. I've been MC Sebzy and hope you liked it.